America in crisis. Now, that's no way to really start off a video. Most people, when they click on a video, no matter what the video is, they want something to grab them right away. They want something to kind of get them hooked in so that they can determine whether or not they want to listen to this nonsense or not. Well, the problem with me is the only thing you're going to get from this is the animation of this face and the authenticity of this voice. Because what I want to talk to you about today is something that I believe you should pay attention to, something that I think you should care about. But ultimately, if your life matters to you, and I'm a big believer in a person's personal sovereignty. Now, as Americans, we believe in a person's individual sovereignty and liberty, right? But we all kind of come together under one umbrella called the United States. And we believe in the Constitution, the laws and that govern it. And we, for the most part, most of us, most good Americans, will follow along with those traditions. But something's happened in this world. And again, I'm not here to try to sell you on politics. I'm not here to try to sell you on any charade or any kind of story, because everybody has received information from a variety of different sources. And of course, you will believe that your source, or the people that you're getting your information from, is the right source. Everybody does it. It's called tribalistic thinking. We all will go to our go-to person or place to get the information that we believe is the information we need in order to make the proper determination. But as you know, and if you're a smart person, and if you're a person who's been paying attention for any length of time, you will realize, and you would have realized, that the media doesn't tell you the truth. Many of the people that are placed within the media are placed there on purpose. They're given a script, and then they are supposed to present that script in a very good way, in a way that, people are going to receive it. It's called messaging. And if you get the message right, and you can get enough people to repeat the message, they always say, when the legend becomes fact, you print the legend. These people create the legend. They create the story. And if they can get enough people in their communities or within their sect, tribal group, to repeat it, before you know it, it follows its way down the line, and then it becomes newsworthy or a story. Excuse me. But that doesn't mean that just because Anderson Cooper, Sean Hannity, Rachel Maddow, or any one of the millions of journalists in the world are telling you the truth. The only way you will ever know for sure if somebody is telling you the truth is if you do the due diligence and you investigate that information yourself. Now, most of us just don't have the time for that. We don't have the time to basically needle pick through the entire story of what somebody's trying to sell us. So we have to, most of the time, make a quick minute assessment on what we're being told and determine whether or not it's true or it's not true. Now, I believe that a person, including yourself, have the ability to recognize bull and truth at the same time. What we have done as a human being, and as Americans and as people around the world, is we have relied on other people to tell us what we see, tell us what we hear, tell us what we taste, tell us what we're doing. We have people, from the moment we come out of that womb, telling us, you and I, what to think, how to think, and why to think it. Depending upon where you are culturally, you may think it's okay to beat the shit out of women. Excuse me, I was trying not to cuss. So I beat the crap out of women. But in a culture in America, that is considered illegal to do. But in other cultures, that is. So you see my point. So depending upon where you grew up and what you do and how you do, you always had somebody telling you, that's the way to live. This is the rules. This is what you're supposed to do. But most of us never really kind of came to any agreement on that. We're just growing up and trying to figure this all out on ourselves. We don't. It's amazing. And this is the stuff that I always like to try to get into on the real meat and potatoes of the Rollman Revolution. Howdy, folks, by the way. DaveMan here again, Rollman Revolution, if I didn't say that at the beginning. But when you look at things like down to the core like that, you start to dissect it. We start to notice that, well, in media, in government, in the education system, anything that has its hooks or its connection to something that has to do with Washington, D.C., or the federal government or government in general, is tainted with some kind of propaganda or BS. Now, all of us, and this is what I kind of had a wake-up call to, but most of us are on this journey together. We all pick up different things at different moments in time. But as you can start to see, the house of cards that they have presented to us for over the last 3 decades is falling apart. This has nothing to do with party anymore. This has nothing to do with the group you think you belong to. This has to do with you. What do you think? What do you believe is the truth? And how did you come to those conclusions? The reason why I'm trying to get more people to start becoming self-reliant on finding out the answers to things is because there's too many of us, too many people, including myself, telling people, hey, look, check this out, check this out, check this out. I keep reiterating over and over again, and I have for the last 20 years. You are more powerful than anything this world has ever seen. If you would just be willing to turn on the switch inside you and recognize the power you have. We all do. It comes down, and listen, this is the other thing. We all, for the most part, 98+% of the people on this planet agree across the board on most things. It's that 2% of cultural difference, 2% of maybe your upbringing, a small percentage of things that we may not see eye to eye on. And there are varying degrees among major topics in government and that we're all going to sway on. And we can be swayed so many different ways. But that's what makes America beautiful, is the fact that you can have a conversation in an open court and debate the issues out. At least that's the way it used to be. But we're now living in some society of craziness with a circus that is running our country, ran by psychopaths that don't give a shit about you or me. Now, why would they go to all this trouble to try to work and grind for your vote if they had no intention whatsoever of doing anything to help you? I want people this new year, because we're almost entering into 2024, I want you to become the dangerous monster in the world. The way you do that is by getting your hands into it. You have to look beyond the surface, because these people have made it a priority in their life to try to find different ways to get you to look at their stupid nonsense, their shiny toy this way, or their little dog bone that they throw you that way. A few months back, it was all the UFO stuff. And now it's at the end of the year, right? What usually gets done around the end of the year? What's happening during the end of the year? Everybody's got their families in from out of town. You're going to this house and to that house. You may be celebrating the new year, but everybody's got family or some kind of event kind of going on. So it's the best time to release the most damaging news that, they have to release. They got to get it out there, but they want to sweep it under the rug pretty quickly. You need to watch the newsreel these last couple weeks and kind of pay attention to what's going on. It's hard to believe. And I again, whatever side of the fence you stand on politically, I want you to for just a moment, please, throw it away. Just throw it away. Sit down, grab your glass of wine or whatever it is that you do, and just take a listen to what I'm saying, okay? Right now, you cannot deny this. And if you are going to deny it, well, then I suggest you get in your car and go right down to the Rio Grande Valley area and take a look for yourself. The United States of America right now is being invaded by the thousands daily across that southern border. Our Border Patrol agents are being used as a concierge service at the behest of the Biden administration, run and helped by Mayorkas, our Homeland Security guy. Now, you heard the testifying of Mayorkas before the Senate and the House of Representatives, and when they questioned him, he made it sound like they're doing everything they can to protect this country and its laws you have to list these people, literally, Mayorkas in particular, literally looked into the camera, looked into the representatives, Gates and several of the other people on the panel, and didn't say anything. He said that everything is under control. We are doing everything we can. The money that we need for this is to do it. But yet, our border is being invaded. This is not migrants just coming to the United States because they're looking for a better life. These are migrants that have been invited by Joe Biden and this administration. They gave them an app to utilize when they got here so that they could, undo the process or make the processing go through a little bit easier. Now, think about this for a minute. All of this, no matter what side of the fence you stand on, again, this is not an issue of Democrat, Republican, Independent. It's not. This is your country. These people right now are being cartelled into neighborhoods all around the United States. They are taking them from wherever they pick them up at border, having them processed at a process location, and then they get on a bus or an airplane or wherever and go to a specific sanctuary city or a city near you, depending upon who is running your state, which governor, which mayor, whatever is running your state. Now, Mayor Adams of New York just got on the TV the other day and basically says New York can't hide the problem anymore. These people are going to New York. They've been trying to hide these people by putting them into hotels and trying to find tent city type areas and places that they can get them out of the view so that they're not sitting up in the streets and taking up, all the space and guys, no place to go. Well, guess what? He just got on television and said, we need to come up with a better plan because we can't keep hiding these guys anymore. We can't hide these people anymore. They're overflowing. Mother Hubbard's cupboard's empty. And unless we got another plan for this, these illegal migrants are going to be all over the street in the biggest city in the world. This is outrageous. And it's outrageous not because this is happening, because that's why people steal elections. The whole reason the 2020 election went the way that it did and all the commotion and the traitoring this and then Pence doing that was, this is all set up. These people who are the puppet masters of this country, okay, you call them the cartel, the deep state, whatever name you want to do it. It's obvious at this point that there's a system in place to take America down by any means necessary. The only reason they're beating the crap out of Donald Trump, and again, this is whether you love the man or hate the man, it doesn't really matter at this point. The only reason they're beating him up is because he's the man standing in the way of whatever it is they're trying to do. So if that guy literally just says, I'm done with all this crap, the arguments, conversation, and all that will go away. It goes back to status quo like it was before. And then you get the next, I don't know what you call them, propped up puppet to stand up there going, oh, how you doing there? Yeah, and I'm telling you about this and the war and Iran, blah, 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 and I'm going to be the best you ever be, and blah, 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 blah. And you're going to hear the same old bullshit talking points. And what's going to happen? The country's going to continue to get worse. They'll throw you a bone every once in a while there, but in the end, you will own nothing and love it. Now, I don't know what side of the football you stand on. It doesn't really matter if you really think about it. You and I both breathe the same air, work in the same economy, try to do the best we can with what we have in this world. We're all trying to do that. And yet, the reason why this crap is going on is because they got you and I fighting amongst each other, beating ourselves over the head over these stupid issues that don't matter, while our country's being invaded, while our dollar's being destroyed, and the President of the United States, the so-called legitimate president, is on vacation in the Caribbean right now. You have a crisis in America. The border is out of control. People are living paycheck to paycheck, gapping it with credit cards, doing everything they can to try to stay afloat in the economy that they have created. And these son of a bitches want more from you. Joe Biden's taking a vacation during a crisis. Do you get 3 weeks vacation? First off, do you get 3 weeks vacation if your company's going downhill? If your company is about ready to go bankrupt, I can guarantee you, if you are a partner in that company, your rear end is going to be sitting in there until you can figure out any answers you possibly can. Not this one. This is why when you hear people say elections have consequences, Steve Bannon has said this, elections have consequences, stolen elections have catastrophic consequences, because the only reason you would steal an election is if you had an intention to do something with it. The only thing we have going on right now that could potentially stop any of the madness that's going on there is the control of Congress. And the people that are in there right now don't feel motivated to do anything. They're waiting around for the United States to write another $70 billion check to the Ukraine, a war that is over. And they are using this money to put into the laundering operation, which all the money that we sent over there so far, can't account for most of it, just goes here, and they lost the war anyway. They were never going to win this war. The reason we were sending money over there is because it went through all of these different channels. It never went to what it was supposed to go to. It paid pension funds, and oligarchs took it this way. And the Ukraine was considered to be, I think it was the 4th or 5th most corrupt country in the world. I think it was several years back. And the United States, Joe Biden, are throwing billions of American dollars, like a blank check, in there with no way to determine how it's going to be distributed to the things that it's just madness. And they want more money from you. They want you to write more money. Otherwise, they're never going to stop anything that's going on that border. They're not even going to talk about it. Now, these are the representatives of your country, my country, are holding our own border hostage against its own people if we don't. They don't twist our arm enough and make us cough up those billions. We are dealing in a madness that is, in a circus that is so out of control now, that if you don't care, that's fine. What you're going to see happen down the future, I hope you enjoy the most entertaining and unpredictable life possible, because that's a guarantee. The United States is broke. The dollar is destroyed. We have close to 14 million or more unknown, unvetted, dispersed throughout the country illegal aliens, many of which are fighting-aged men, in a country of people or citizens that have been worked to death, deflated, demoralized, destroyed in so many different areas by medicine, COVID, you name it, all of the things that have happened over the last few. The United States is so torn up. We have been ripped up and ripped down. Fentanyl flying across the southern border, being redistributed throughout the United States, people dying all over the place. And you have millions of people in this country that weren't here 2-3 years ago. Do you know how a country changes, don't you? It changes from within. This slow burn has been going on, my friends, for 30, 40 years. It's a slow drip process. They change something very slightly and then normalize it up. Change it again, then normalize it. Change it again. Before you know it, you don't remember, or the people that are talking on the mainstream or within schoolings or education are not even talking about the things the way they used to be, because they don't even know of their existence to begin with anyway. This is happening in the woke culture society. It's happening in these large companies and businesses. You can start to see it. This is the reasons why when companies get too large, they get so woke, they get so easily out of control. You have in-groups and out-groups, and you have different displacements within the company. It happens in government. It happens in every part of your life. You've seen it, because you're not stupid. This stuff happens all the time in companies. I'm sure you can tell me an example of when you're at work and all of a sudden, you can see that that person got promoted and they probably shouldn't, but because they're rubbing elbows with the other person, there's the in-group and then there's the out-group. And it happens all over this place. And it shouldn't. But the reason why is because we've created this tribalistic society, a belief in I'm right, you're wrong, you're right, I'm wrong. Rather than being a society that is focused on not about being right, but getting it right. You say your piece, I say my piece, we all talk about it, and then we come to the conclusions together. That is the way a functional society works. That's how a functional family works. That's how a functional anything works, is by working together. There's no team going on in Washington, D.C. These people can't, each one of them, I'm sure, is always worried that the person to their right or to their left is going to stab them in the back at some point down the road. Now, how do you work in an environment like that and expect to survive? It's almost like, if this is the way you have to run a government, then the government's just the problem. This bureaucracy has become the problem. Because it's not designed to be that difficult. Because you and I, we can solve these little minuscule problems in our own homes, and we're asked to do so on a regular basis. You know, Joe Biden's not coming in here to fix any of my problems, right? He can, bail his son Hunter out. His Hunter can spend $150 million or $150,000 on hookers and strippers and cocaine, and that's fine. But those people aren't coming to help you or me out. No. They've spent all of the American treasure. You don't have a pension sitting there waiting for you, do you? No, you got to work until you're 65, or maybe 67 or 68, if Social Security's even there, because they're coming for that too, I'm telling you. The government we have is the government we deserve, because we've allowed it to go on, because you and I were told that politics is too confusing, it's too ridiculous, nobody understands, they're all a bunch of crooks. Yes, they are, which is the reasons why you can't allow them to run the gambit. You can't allow them to get into these positions of power. Because when they do, what do gangsters do? They staff the entire fleet with their own people. So it's criminals protecting other criminals. And because they all got dirt on each other, well, nobody's going to squeal. They're just going to keep the status quo. And that is Washington, D.C. in a nutshell. America's in a huge crisis right now. I mean, and I don't like to talk about that because crises suck. But this is a crisis that goes away tomorrow when you and your neighbor stop fighting with each other and just say, look, we're never going to have the arguments over abortion. We're never going to have the arguments over whether or not gun rights are right. Or we're never going to have an argument over any of these issues, these topics that they say are, so divided in America, if you don't have an America in the end. Look, your life is hard now, okay? Once the dollar is destroyed and you don't have that as the prime reserve currency, what else? You're not going to be able to do. You're going to be so tight down. Everything is going to be so much more difficult, harder, expensive. The way our country rebuilds is by I say partly is to an isolationistic principle for a little bit, but we can manufacture all the stuff here. We can grow all the things we need here. We have the intelligence of the people and everything that we need here. And if companies who consider themselves Americans or American companies want to use that labor abroad and then bring it back here, well then we won't allow that, or we'll tariff the living hell out of it to make it equal to what it would cost if they actually just built it here. You see, we got to put this country first. That's the whole idea. Like in your household, you put your children and your family and all of the people that are in your immediate circle first. That's just common sense, but that's just what you're supposed to do as a human being, as a good man, as a good woman. You do the things that you're supposed to do because it's the right thing to do. Well, let's just open up the volume, turn up the volume a little bit. Well, that means that a mayor is supposed to take care of the people within their city or a little major community. And then the governor is supposed to take care of the state, or like the mini country of the United States. And then the president is supposed to be taking care of the people of the United States, mainly their security, their economy, well-being, their pursuit of happiness, but above all, looking out for the American people. That includes their children. I am blown away by how this man can go down to the Caribbean right now. First off, part of me believes that man is so out of it, I don't even know if it's Joe Biden anymore. I don't know who that character is. It's almost a joke at this point. He knows that he has no say-so in any of it. He is a figurehead, a puppet, a person to stand in front of the podium just to make, yeah, that's that thing there is the president. But that thing there isn't making any decisions. That thing there can't even make a coherent sentence. That thing there's been stupid its entire life. I'm not here to crap on anybody, but you know what? I don't have very much in my own life. But when I see some other human being purposely shit on another human being because they feel that they can, I have a problem with that. I have a big problem with human beings waking up every single day and finding a way to screw the other guy over. That's a cultural problem. How did we get here? I'm asking you genuinely, as an American citizen, this is not about Republican or Democrat. And if you're listening, truly listening to what I'm saying, this definitely has to resonate with you if you're a thinking, American loving patriot. Look, nothing is perfect in this world. Neither are you. There is nothing perfect in this world. But that's why we are trying to work towards that. That's the goal and the journey of everybody's life, is to truly slowly refine whatever it is that we're doing so that we can get a little bit better each day. But when you and I keep fighting over this stupid nonsense that is so irrelevant to anything that's going on in this world, they got us. They got us. The way this ends is when you and I throw that crap aside and just say, look, our lives matter, our household matter, our children matter, our communities matter, and we want to do the best we can for these people and make it better than we received it. Look, there are many people in this world right now, or many people in this country who have family members have died so that we could sit here right now and have this conversation. It's just absolutely absurd to me that a government could literally do what it's doing right now. That people could sit up there right now and pretend to represent you and me, to represent this country, to protect this country. We have traitors among us. And I don't say that lightly. We have tyrants in that White House. And that is provable by the actions and information that has fully available if you are willing to look at it. But if you're just going to be willing to digest whatever is presented to you in 2024 and not look deep, you're going to be the person like the ostrich, head stuck in the sand. Yeah, you may not be seeing what's going on, but I'm telling you right now, everybody sees you and you're going to get plowed the hell over. I want people to become the dangerous, informed monster. You don't realize how powerful you are when you equip yourself with the truth. And how do you know what the truth is? Well, when you come across it, it's easily identifiable. It resonates. You can see it, you can feel it, it lives within it. That's why most people, when you see something that is authentic, you don't go, wow, it's authentic. You just know it. It's a knowing. We have lost something in this country, but the way we're going to get it back is by you and I fighting for what truly matters. What truly matters to you? I mean, deep down, what truly matters to you? For me, it's my ability to scope this world and go wherever it is that I would like to go in this world without having to get a passport or this or that. I'd like to go wherever I want to go, to investigate, to see, to explore. I'd love to do that. But there's so many rules, so many regulations, so many. We think we are free beings. But the only freedom we have is the freedom they give us. The freedom they've allowed us. They've told us. Like I said, your entire life you've been being told what to think, how to think, why to think it. Teachers, instructors, parents, military, whatever. There's always somebody trying to tell you something about something. It's my opinion. It's about time you start discovering what's out there. You start testing the waters yourself. You start digging into the information yourself. You start combing through the BS and filtering it all out, and you'll start to see, well, wait a minute. Somebody was talking about this over here, but somebody else was talking about the same thing over here, and it's entirely different. Wait a minute. How can we have two different stories? Aha. It all starts to come together, and those pieces will start to fall into place, and then life starts taking on a different meaning. When you start to notice the ridiculousness of this matrix, world, whatever you want to call it, and then you realize the influence that you have on it when you focus your attention. You take your intention, and you focus it on something and continually keep focus on it. You become the driving force, the tip of the spear, whatever you want to call it, the analogy you want to call it. You can move mountains. You can change things. And when you take a whole bunch of people that are on the same path, working towards a specific goal, game changer. That's why I said the power resides in you. It always has. And the more you start to believe in your power, self-discovery, you start to be able to separate the wheat from the chaff a lot easier. Because once you live your life in a state of truth, and you start to open your eyes up and actually see what you see, hear what you hear, and think what you think, and not be told what to think, the world opens up to you. People start opening up to you. You can share in the experience because we're all seeing the same exact thing. We don't have to pretend, oh, that's not what we're seeing. But in the world we are today, we're told what to think. So when somebody tells you that, you have to argue with them. Why? Because, you can't say that, you can't be that, you can't think that. I can't think that. How did we get here? How did we get to a point where the things that truly matter have been pushed down and suppressed? We're told to focus on these things that don't matter. You are a driving force. You. I know you're sitting there right now. If you made it this far into the video, you can make the difference. I have seen the people that think they don't have something to offer. Those are the ones that usually have the most to offer. Start believing in your abilities. Start believing in the ability to change things. And then start focusing on that thing one day at a time. It's every day. You've got to learn to live in this moment. The never-ending now. Right now. You have the ability to change things in the internal, eternal now. Start now. What happens tomorrow will change. Start tomorrow. What happens further will change. Every day you work towards the focus of changing something, whatever it is, for the better, it gets there. And the more that get involved and focus on the same thing, to do the same thing, faster, more accurate, more impactful. We're on the same team, America. If you're a Democrat, look, I used to be one too. Then I was a Republican. Then I was an independent. These are labels that don't mean anything. What means, the most important thing to me, is what do you believe? What does Speaker Johnson believe? What are all those people that wear those suits and all of those pantsuits and the wonderful nice gowns and all the stuff that go to Congress? What do they think? And not to what they say. What do they really think? What is it they've been doing? Look at their records. Judge them by what it is they have done, not by what they say, because we say things all the time, and we know they have been lying. You are smarter than this. Don't you want a better life for your family? Forget about the labels. Throw the labels out. Stop looking at people from Republican or Democrat or whatever the frickin' damn label they want to put on themselves. Stop doing that. Look at the individual. Research the individual. Discover who the people are that are trying to fight for your little bit of power. Think about it like that. Your vote is a little bit of power, and they're just trying to take it from you and then just do whatever they want to with it. The answer is no. because you are now going to get involved. You are now going to be an astute student in the game. Don't think that this is not a game. It is a game. And intention and focus is what changes it. You are a dangerous monster, or you can be. Every single human person, I believe, has something to offer to change the world in a direction that can make it better. Now, I know there are many people out there that think it's not even worth it. It's the biggest clown show of the world, which I will agree. It is the biggest clown show of the world. But it could get incredibly worse. And I don't know about you, but this place provides enough suffering on its own. I don't need anyone to assist me in the suffering part of this life. Joe Biden has put enough hurt, enough pain, and enough torture on enough American citizens. From the moment he entered office to where we are now, just look at the decline of this nation. We are a joke to the world. How did that happen? I'll tell you how it happened. We allowed prostitutes, puppets, and criminals to lead us. And anybody who went in there to try to get rid of that nonsense, what did they do? They took their criminal friends in the Justice Department, criminal friends in the court system, criminal friends in every sector that they had them planted in. And what did they do? They just attacked and attacked and attacked. And they're still attacking. There's nothing that's happening by accident. The media's job is to try to convince you of whatever their BS is, or whatever their new little story or narrative is. But you're smarter than that. And you're going to fight back in 2024. Do you know why I know you're going to fight back in 2024? Because your family matters. Your wife matters. Your husband matters. The people in your community matter. Culture, language, and borders are what make up a nation. And this administration has destroyed all three of them. The way we restore power, the way we restore a nation, is by focusing on those three areas. You can take up your flag in any particular one of those areas and start working today at the infinite now, right now, to start making a difference. I've lost so much, but I fight every single day. Why? Because it's the right thing to do, for no other reason than the fact that I have a knowing deep down that this is the right thing to do. I am here on this planet at this moment in time. My consciousness is actually fueling this body right now to do something at this particular moment in time. I'm not going to get caught up in this nonsense anymore. This is a charade. It continues to keep perpetuating itself. However, while I'm here, I'm done being a slave to these people. I'm done not having my part or not getting my piece of the American pie. Aren't you? Because they're stealing it all. They're giving it to their friends. Joe Biden's right now on a Caribbean vacation. Can you afford a Caribbean vacation? Can you afford a vacation at all right now? And this son of a bitch is sitting down there like there's nothing going on. No. We are better than this, America. You are better than this. I am certainly better than this. This country deserves better than this. And I'm telling you right now, the only reason that I am fighting in this game is because I believe that your life matters. The lives of the people that you love matter. Everything in the United States is a good country with good people who are just trying to make a living, live within their means, do the best they can with what they've been given, and just try to help each other out along the way. That's all anybody's ever asking for. That's not even a lot to ask. And you can't do that in a country like this right now. It's hard enough to get from one week to the next. And this guy's on vacation. I'm telling you right now, you got to put the right people in. You got to put people in who care, who genuinely care, who understand what people are really going through. and how people try to figure out one day to the next on how to get to the next, just to the next day. Speaker Johnson, you have an opportunity to do something great here. You really do. But something tells me, I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but something tells me you're going to have a very hard time trying to find that path too for some reason. It's my opinion that all of Congress needs to go. We need a whole, fresh, new set of faces. People that have absolutely nothing to do with that city. People like you. There's a lot of good people out there that really just want to make this country better. I know that sounds so trivial. Oh, it's a tagline, make America great again. Well, let me ask you a question. If we're not willing to do that, if we're not willing to take care of the people that bust their ass every single day to try to make ends meet and to make this world better, if we're not willing to go to bat for you, then what are those people there for? What is their purpose? What do they do if not to serve you? I'm going to leave you with that. What are those people there? What are they doing there if they're not here to serve you? No, America. You deserve better. I'm going to fight every single day. I'm going to do my best every single day with the time I have, with all the free time I have, try to make this country a little bit better. Try to point and shine the spotlight on the people that are making the right noise, making the right argument. I just don't want anybody to suffer anymore. I've seen too many people over the last 3 years. When you look into the eyes of a lot of these people, I see homeless people all the time where I live. It's getting more and more out of control. And because I live in a warmer state, a lot of people from up north even come down here because you can't live on the streets up there and freeze yourself to death. You got to come down here. And when you look into their faces, some of them are grateful, some of them are just grateful to get through the day. And then the other ones, you can just see that they're barely hanging on. These are our own people. And we're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine, billions of dollars overseas. We're not taking care of the problems and the issues we have here. Again, we're not on different teams, my friends. We are not. You and I are in the same camp. I just wish, my hope is that we really just recognize this sooner. Because I don't want to do this anymore. Do you? You really like arguing? You really like struggling every single day? There's enough wealth in this nation if we just work together for once and just stop fighting over this nonsense. We could turn this country around tomorrow. We could start working and building. Turn it to the greatest country on earth rather than the greatest show on earth. Goddamn clown show, my friends. We deserve better than this. And I'll be damned. I'll be damned if I don't wake up every single day. I'll tell you what, every single day, we're out in the field and we're going to keep fighting. I hope to see you out there real soon. I'm sorry I bloviated and talk. I'm going to do some more of these entertaining ones or try to get more that are a little bit more fun. But I really want to see you all out there, and I hope, truly hope, you start to come together. You start in 2024, you start to really dive into the information, because you only know something when you discover it yourself. Don't take anybody's word for it. Don't take my word for it. Don't take the guy down the street for it. Don't take your tweets, your twats, your TikToks. Discover the stuff on your own. Do your due diligence and find the answers. I hope to see you guys on the battlefield. Talk with you soon. You can always catch me on Getter, X, whatever the heck it's called now, Truth Social, at David Rollman. And friend me. Let's have a conversation. All right, folks. Hope to see you all on the next one. Take care. Have a happy new year. Stay safe. I'll see you out there.